been exclusion galore so far. Been 5 exclusions for St. Francis. This one against William Simpson. That was to set up the play as we zoom in on the action again. Past halfway through the first period. 1 for Bucknell in dark, 1 for St. Francis in white. Bucknell and MAWPC East, St. Francis NWPC. Under 10 on the shot clock. As it's even strength. Has to back up a little, and that will go the other way. Possession back to St. Francis. Bucknell is number 15 in the NCAA. However, Bucknell will likely drop in ranking after losses to Fordham and Wagner yesterday. Granted, Fordham number 20 in the rankings. Wagner is receiving votes. Wagner lost to Fordham earlier today by 4 goals. Now Bucknell trying to take the lead, but not in that possession. And St. Francis is in the lead. Spotlight on number 10. That's Oliveri's second to make it 2-1 in favor of St. Francis Brooklyn. Here at quarter number 1, a couple minutes to go in the opening stanza. First lead of the game. That was Baptiste Oliveri. Each team with 3 shots apiece. St. Francis gets it back. And right now, St. Francis is in a bit of a groove. Spotlight now on number 2, Paul Armingol from IN Provence front. The French native makes it 3-1. And right now we are heading into dangerous territory for Bucknell. The 2-time defending MAWPC champs on the ropes against NAWPC squad Terriers. Another 6-on-5 though for Bucknell. This is the 6th power play. Though there's one thing St. Francis is doing wrong, that is being overly aggressive. Now the play, it goes, goal throw. Josh Yardley let it go, but missed. Limited time left here in the first. Out in front, and that's one Bucknell will surely regret. As the goalie was out in front. A goal from number 3, Adonis Vlasic. His first to make it 4-1 now in favor of SFC, and the Terriers lead this one by 3 with a 4-0 run. 2:16 to go. And right now, Bucknell is heading into unfamiliar territory. When was the last time Bucknell lost 3 consecutive home games? Let alone 3 games in a row. And a Bucknell Invitational. How about a 7th exclusion foul? That was on Valentin Horvath for the 2nd time. And there's another 6-on-4. That's the 3rd 6-on-4 in the first quarter. Bucknell really needs to take advantage here. Heading right to left and dark. Out in front and connects. Fans loving that play. A goal by number 7 for the Bison. Walker Butler, the sophomore out of Bluebell, Pennsylvania, makes it St. Francis Brooklyn in white for Bucknell in dark 2. He dented the twine, alright. 5 shots apiece. But 8 exclusions in the first quarter alone for St. Francis. Adrian Tuzo now dangling the rock. Ordinary foul. Just 1 exclusion on Bucknell. Another ordinary foul. Right now, it appears St. Francis is on pace for 10 exclusions in the first quarter alone. And that is out of play. 2-meter corner for the Bison. Andu Vlashanu entered this weekend for Bucknell with 89 career goals. He's still looking for goal number 90, if I'm not mistaken. That is exclusion foul number 9 for the Terriers of Brooklyn Heights, New York. Bucknell needs to cash in again, trying to regain momentum. Their attack on the sidelines, now acting calm. Earlier when the game was 1-1, he was hollering left and right, their attack. He still is. Lost the handle, loose ball seized by the Terriers. That last exclusion foul was on Aleska Siskovic. Going left to right now. Now the point, lobbed off of the crossbar. And that is the end of the first quarter of play, and it's one that Bucknell would like to have back. Bucknell scored first. St. Francis then went on a 4-0 one before Butler helped the Bison get within 2 for 1 quarter play. It's the St. Francis Terriers of Brooklyn 4 and the number 15 Bucknell Bison of Lewisburg, PA 2. Here in game number 10.
Hi, I'm Wolf Weigo, 3-time Olympian and co-founder of Cap 7. And today we're going to talk about when and when not to call a timeout and the strategies behind that. Timeouts are a critical part of the game, and being prepared can really help you maximize your opportunities. I found when calling a timeout, you have certain things prepared before the game. So maybe it's my best 5-on-6. So I've got my 5 players that I would want in the pool. If the other team calls a timeout, I'm ready to put those players in, bring out some of my players who might be better on offense, but weak on defense, and I can get my best 5 players in, or my best 6 players if it's a front court. There wasn't an exclusion and there's a timeout. So I can be ready to make some changes. And similarly, if I'm calling the timeout and I have a power play, or if I'm running a play in the front court and I have certain players that aren't in the pool when I call the timeout that I want to run a specific play, then I'll have that handy, be able to look at it real quick and not have to think about it as I want to talk about other things and focus on motivating the team as well. So when using a timeout, a couple things to think about is it's not just about the play you're going to set up at that moment. You can talk about the motivation of the team, why they need to fight harder, why they need to press harder. So really getting the team motivated. Some coaches will take the time to yell at a certain player or a couple players and really try and use that motivation to get the team fired up or make a point. You also want to let the team know what happened the immediate next 20 seconds of the possession. So if you do score, this is how we're going to play off the line. Watch for picks. Watch for a certain play the other team might have. And if you don't score, also what you're going to be thinking about as the remaining minutes of the period of the game.
Be sure to check out our new CWPA Remote Series Professional Edition on the CWPA YouTube channel. We have Olympian George Groves Jr. interviewing water polo alumni from a variety of schools and professions. we take a look at how water polo helped them in college and beyond. The complete first season is now available. Season 2 is coming soon, so be sure to like and subscribe. St. Francis Brooklyn in white, leading 4-2, heading left to right. And it's Bucknell in dark down to dribbling right to left, winning the tip. Now it's St. Francis with the ball. Good block by Tuzo. Oh, a 5-meter has been awarded, and Bucknell does not know why. This is a critical moment. Hassan Mogatai draws the exclusion. And it beats Tuzo. It's number 8 in white for the Terriers. With the goal, Dominic Havasi gets on the board to make it 5-2. Havasi, first team all conference in the NWPC a couple years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Now going the other way back to SFC. St. Francis looking to rock and roll right now. But it sails wide, right out of play. Tuzo will have the goal throw. And yes, Havasi was first team all NWPC 2 years ago. Now St. Francis Brooklyn trying to make matters worse. Not at the moment. Tuzo will have the rock. St. Francis at 6-2. I had a difficult spring. Former player Boris Posevec passed away back in the spring. He played from 2016 to 19, so Ilya Duratek had been a teammate of his. In 2019, his senior year, he tallied 25 goals, 23 assists, 27 exclusions. Back to the game, timeout in the pool as St. Francis Brooklyn appears to have possession. There was an exclusion against Adonis Flaxett. Stay up to date on new schedules and new initiatives as we continue to grow the sport of water polo. Visit collegiatewaterpolo.org. It's also where you can check out to see when and where we plan on streaming future tournaments on the CWP network. All regular season remote broadcasts are now free of charge, courtesy of Cap 7 and Collegiate Water Polo Association. Cap 7 is the premier water polo provider specializing in all your water polo needs. 5-2 SFC. It was 4-2 St. Francis Brooklyn entering the second quarter. Dominic Havasi scoring a lone tally this quarter. 7 shots for St. Francis compared to 8 by Bucknell. Bucknell out of the timeout on the power play. That is the 10th exclusion on St. Francis in the game. And there have been a couple of 6 of 4 attempts, at least 3. Even strength out of play. Goal throw. into Vlashinu out of play it went. Well, Bucknell will needs to buckle down in the defense. And it's off the post. Bucknell has one more game this tournament. It's against Salem. Much better record all time. I believe 22-3 all time against the Tigers. 23-3, actually. Here come the Terriers of Brooklyn Heights. And a play. We'll throw for Tuzo. St. Francis Brooklyn would like to go to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2013. St. Francis leading by 3. Would like to get back to the NCAA promised land. Right now having a solid showing in this tournament with 2 wins yesterday. Bucknell, uncharted territory. Bucknell does not usually lose 3 straight games at home, let alone 3 games in a row. It's been a while since the Bison have lost 6 consecutive games, currently on a 5-game skid. Exclusion foul for the 11th time on St. Francis. And Bucknell makes the Terriers pay. Short-lived exclusion. It's another goal for number 3 for Bucknell. Jack Lewis, his second of the game. It's now 5-3 in the second quarter in favor of St. Francis Brooklyn in the white. Off the post. By Havesi, denied by Tuzo. Ten shots for each club. Bucknell within 2. Once trailed 4-1 in the first quarter despite scoring the first goal of the game. Set up. Gets off the noggin of the keeper, and Bucknell is within 1. A goal by number 8, Matt Rickman from Caracas, Venezuela. 5-4. And all of a sudden, Bucknell is down 1. Trailed 4-2 entering this period. Couple goals here and there. They've changed the complexion of this one. Now the play. We'll throw for Tuzo. Oliveri. Too strong. Now Bucknell on the attack, heading right to left. And yet another exclusion. That's at least 11. That's Siskovic. That is Siskovic's 3rd exclusion of the game. He cannot return. Oh, fans are a little bit rowdy. Save there by Stilvic. George Stilkovic. St. Francis now on attack. That gets past Tuzo. And it makes it now 6-4. A goal by Havasi for the second time. Dominic Havasi. 2-goal lead. This ball's going to be back in play with limited time to go here in the second quarter. Bucknell now on the attack yet again. Story in this one. So many exclusion fouls for the Terriers of St. Francis Brooklyn, and yet have a 2-goal lead. 11 exclusions compared to 2 by Bucknell. Bucknell looking to get within 1. Ordinary foul. Under 10 on the shot clock. Another ordinary foul. Will need to take a long distance shot, but dumps it off in the corner instead. Inside, but stopped. Tuzo. And we'll be on another power play opportunity. John McBride wants to talk it over. He has over 175 wins in his career at the helm. He is the Bucknell women's all-time wins leader for coaching. It's 6-4 with 46 seconds to go in the second quarter. Last time these two teams met before today had been in 2019, the opening weekend at the Bruno Classic of Providence, Rhode Island, defeated SFC 13-10, but on October 19, 2019, at the Harvard Invite, Bucknell dropped a 16-14 decision. Coming up for halftime, we'll cue up Cap 7 Tip of the Week. By the way, the 13-9 loss to Fordham and 14-11 loss to Wagner yesterday marked the first time Bucknell started 0-2 in MAWPC play. Before 2021, Bucknell started 0-2 in conference play in 2015, back when there was the CWPA Southern Division. The Bison have not started 0-3 in conference play since 2012, when they started 0-4 in CWPA Southern. Finished 3-5 in the division regular season. This is a non-conference game, though. And it will be a turnover. Shot clock is unplugged. But 12 exclusions in the first half by St. Francis, and yet the Terriers are up by 2. Only 2 exclusions on the Bison here in Lewisburg, PA. So, could be the last possession. That is denied by Tuzo. Is there enough time for the hurling of the pearl? There it is. And it is stopped by George Ilkavet. Crowd is a bit silent right now because St. Francis Brooklyn in white leads this one 6-4. 4 in the first, 2 in the second, while Bucknell had 2 in the first, 2 in the second. 12 exclusions for St. Francis Brooklyn in the first half. 3 players have at least 2, including number 9, Aleska Siskovic, who was listed as already being removed from the game with 3 exclusions. Only 2 exclusions for Bucknell, both by Hassan Mogatai. We got a good one brewing here through halftime. Let's send it over for a tip of the week.
Hi, my name is Kelly Mann, and I played for Stanford and currently for the New York Athletic Club. Let's ramp up the degree of difficulty on our off-the-water shots by adding a defender. So let's talk about which of our 3 shots we would do based on where the defender is on your body. So if the defender's on your weak side, so for me I'm right-handed, that would be defender on my back but more on my left side, I would typically do the first shot we worked on, which is our basic underwater pickup, be able to maneuver the ball, and I typically would do a double leg kick away from the defender and then follow through on my shot. If the defender is on my opposite side, so I'm right-handed, they're on my strong side, so they're on the side with my arm, I wouldn't want to do that shot because they could get a hold of my elbow and hit it down and my shot would end up going up. So that's one of the ones where I would probably do more of a tee shot or a quick screw shot. Really fast, stays in front of me, and the defender really can't mess with it too much. If they do try to, it would typically be called a penalty, so you'll get the shot out of it anyway. And the last one, if the defender is directly on your back, that might be an opportunity too for you to take advantage of that and almost stroke even more, maybe a little bit longer, because the referee, if the defender's directly on your back like a backpack, is bound to call up some sort of kick out. So to make sure to let go of the ball for a second, take a couple more strokes. If they're still not calling anything, then getting a quick shot off, whether it's a quick tee shot or just popping it up and pushing it off of the water. That's what I would do when a defender's directly on my back. Let's always remember, keep your hips up, elbows high, use that wrist, and get it off quick before your defender comes down on you.
Make sure you look into the Alumni Initiative if you are a graduating senior. We want you to become involved by being a referee, mentor, coach, or financial supporter. By engaging our alumni after graduation, we can add programs to make playing more fun and reduce participation costs. If you or someone you know is interested, contact the CWPA office at 610-277-6787 or office@collegiatewaterpolo.org. The Terriers of St. Francis Brooklyn lead this one 6-4 over the Bucknell Bison. Bucknell scored the first goal in this one. Then a 4-0 won by St. Francis. Bucknell is hanging in there though. Interesting to mention, Bucknell is on a 5-game losing streak. Hasn't dropped 6 consecutive games since 2010 when the Bison at one point suffered an 8-game losing streak, which is the longest in program history. So this is unfamiliar territory for John McBride. If the Bison were to lose this one, this would be the longest losing streak under McBride for the men's program. Teams will switch ends in the second half. The Bison in dark will be going left to right, and St. Francis Brooklyn right to left and white. I haven't heard from Doric Ozer yet, the reigning MAWPC Player of the Year and was last season's Rookie of the Year. in winter 2021 in the MAWPC. SFC wins the sprint to begin the third quarter. First half, 13 shots for St. Francis compared to 12 for Bucknell. 12 exclusions for the Terriers compared to 2 for the Bison. Both were by Mogatai. Ball under called on St. Francis, so Bucknell will get it back. The Bison have allowed 10 or more goals in 11 straight games. It's the longest stretch since the final game of 1993 and the first game of 1994. That's right, 14 games in a row at one point, allowing 10 or more goals. The 94 season, by the way, allowed it in 16 of 17 games. That season was canceled after October 15th. An exclusion for the 13th time on St. Francis gives Bucknell another shade of life. Heading left to right. Now from the point, the Bison inside around the 5-meter area. That was on Polo Morier. His second. And the play goes. Goal throw. Looked like Doric Ozer couldn't convert. And here come St. Francis Brooklyn. Tuzo right out in front. And boy, St. Francis out of sorts. The Bucknell faithful here loving that call. That was an offensive foul on St. Francis. Now there will be an exclusion. Donis Vlasic. And is whistled for misconduct. You can hear the spectators here wanting him out. Ordinary foul. That's 15 exclusions now. The little dribbler gets by. It's a goal for number 21 of Bucknell to make it a 1-goal difference. That's Hassan Mogatai. He's got to be careful. He has 2 exclusion fouls. Does that in the 6-on-5. And boy, Ilya Duratek is saying, I'm not sure what's going on, official. Calls timeout for St. Francis. Boy, the CWPA officials here not letting St. Francis go easy. We'll give you exclusions. There are 3 on Vlasic, 3 on Kovic, so every 2 players have excluded out. 2 on Havasi, 2 on Moliere, 2 on Horvath, 1 apiece for Rayad Shahada. Also number 11, Leonidas Afinasulius and William Simpson. 2 exclusion fouls for Bucknell are on Hassan Mogatai. Boy, when you have to lead a list that long, you know that this is not your typical game. 15 exclusions and you're leading by 1. Pretty soon, if you have a few more, you might run out of players. St. Francis out of the timeout. Terriers going right to left and white with some time remaining here in the third. The halftime lead was 6-4 St. Francis. And right now, there'll be a 6-on-5 opportunity for the Terriers. And find room to score! 7-5 FSC. Paul Armingo, for the second time, makes it 7-5. That was against Ethan Jones, the exclusion. Right now, St. Francis 7 of 14 on shots compared to 5 of 14 by Bucknell. And this is a chippy game right now. Gotta settle down the tempers. $5-meter. There was interference around the 2-meter area. The Bucknell spectators pleased with that call. They're pleased with any call right now that goes against St. Francis, to be frank. Armingo, his first foul. Boy, the spectators here could really get into your head. Off the post! Spectators here silent after that mishap. Looks like Bucknell will be down a player. That's Ethan Jones. Guilty. So gets a perimeter passing. Now a 6-on-4. Jack Lewis excluded. Not for long. St. Francis stretches the lead to 3. Polo Mourier converts on the man advantage. That's his first of the game to make it St. Francis. Brooklyn in the white 8. Bucknell in the dark 5. It was a surprise. Bucknell lost to Wagner yesterday afternoon. May have been surprising yesterday morning, losing 13-9 to Fordham for only the 5th loss in 53 meetings to the Rams. And how about this? The 17th exclusion on St. Francis, this time Dominic Havasi. That's Havasi's third, so he's out, and they're able to push it home. Bucknell gets the goal from Shea Gillern, the freshman from Woodland Hills, California. It's now 8-6. But boy, the box score for this game is going to look ugly. Not just from the goals scored, but from the number of exclusion fouls. There have been only 3 players for St. Francis who are out. Vlasic, Havasi, and Sisakovic. Without Havasi, you lose some of your power. So Ilya Duratic has to have a lot of tricks up her sleeve if St. Francis were to continue hanging on to the lead. 6-on-5, power play. Short-lived. But it is not short-lived. They get the ball back. St. Francis pummeled out of play by Tuzo. Imagine if this was a game a year ago when we couldn't have spectators here at Kinney Natatorium. Would there have been this many penalties? Not sure, because the spectators are definitely feeling the fire. Not in terms of the outcome of the game, but the intensity. As Bucknell's trying to feed off of that energy. St. Francis, though, wants to hang on. Bucknell whistled for another foul after that ricochet. Undo Lashanu whistled for his first exclusion. Who's that against? Another 6-on-4. That is the third exclusion on Ethan Jones. Actually, Matt Rickman just got out. And apparently the goal is good by number 10, Baptiste Oliveri. That's his third to make it 9-6. Josep Yorda Munoz whistled for misconduct. He just got a brutality. We have never seen something like that. A brutality has been whistled on Josep Yorda Munoz. And we're going to have to solve this. If a player commits a particularly violent act such as striking a player, then the referee may signal brutality foul, in which the case the team is required to play with one fewer player in the water for 4 minutes, besides the culprit being ejected. They must leave the pool area and not return. So Josep Yorda Munoz in the Barcelona, Spain, just had committed a brutality. And that is stopped there by George Stoilkovic. My gosh, that whistle isn't going to be silent. Ball will be thrown out of play. It looks like there's also been a kick out. Doric Ozer getting called out by the official for an exclusion. Right now, 20 exclusions for St. Francis, 11 by Bucknell. Over 30 exclusions, and it's still the third quarter. Boy, the Bison and the Terriers looking more like a wrestling match or a boxing match. Although you cannot wrestle or box in the pool, as we just saw moments ago. Josep Yorda Munoz got called for the brutality, number 17 in right. So St. Francis has to be down a player for a couple more minutes. So St. Francis has to play 5-on-6, and it finds room to the right side of the cage. 10-6 now. A goal by number 14 in white, Riyad Shehadeh. Out of Cyprus. His first of the game, it's 10-6 with limited time left in the third. 2-0 run now for St. Francis Brooklyn. 19 shots on goal for the Terriers, 16 for the Bison. 31 combined exclusions, 1 brutality issued. That was to Munoz of St. Francis Brooklyn. This game has practically had it all. Bucknell right now will get a 5-meter penalty. Time running out here in the third. Against Stoilkovic. Ball will be thrown out to the official. Val Vasiljakov the head ref of this tournament, joined by a handful of others. Looks like a timeout is called here. The CWPA YouTube channel is your #1 video source for everything water polo. Check out Tip of the Week series, CWPA Remote Series, Game of the Week, and more. Visit youtube.com and search CWPA Water Polo. St. Francis, Brooklyn, in the lead in the Whitecaps by a count of 10-6. Not Samuel Lever Weiss here on the CWPA Network. Also, a big thank you to our camera operators here at Bucknell. Director of Multimedia is Justin Seipert. Dan Sheridan is the Commissioner. Ed Haas, Director of Communication. Ed Reed, Coordinator of Officials. After this game, please stay tuned if the circumstances permit. We'll have game number 11 of the tournament. The final one we plan on streaming for today, Mercyhurst and Wagner. Wagner 2-1 on the weekend. Mercyhurst 0-3. In danger of starting this season 0-8. In fact, Mercyhurst has not started the season 0-8 in a long time. In fact, Mercyhurst, which is on a 9-game losing streak, hasn't dropped 10 games in a row since a 14-game losing streak from the final 13 games in 2003 and the first game in 2004. So ball will be thrown back in play. There's the warm-up pool over there. Got a 5-meter penalty shot. Bucknell really needs it. And he converts! A much-needed boost. Full deficit. Here toward the end of the third quarter. That was off the back of the net. 21 exclusions now on St. Francis, Brooklyn, and we still are in the third quarter. That is going to be an ugly looking sheet when the CWPA office sees it. St. Francis, Brooklyn is going to have to clean up its act. You were thinking with that amount of exclusions, 21, you'd be trailing by at least 3. Not lead by 3. Now the Terriers are on attack toward the end of the quarter. Now to the left side. How to play. All thrown back in. Riyad Shahada let it go, but it missed the cage. Still in the third quarter, 10-7 St. Francis, Brooklyn. 4 in the first, 2 in the second, 4 in the third for 10. Bucknell, 2 in the first, 2 in the second, 3 in the third. This is men's varsity action of the Bucknell Invitational on CWPATV.com, and now there's a discussion with Ilya Duratek, with Alex Stankiewicz, the CWPA official. .58 seconds to go in the third. This game is an eternity right now. Started at around noon Eastern. And the game could have been over by now the way we've had all of these exclusions. The Josep Yodra Munoz brutality earlier this quarter for St. Francis. I'm not exactly sure. Dervatic talked with referee Alex Stankiewicz. According to our line, there have been 6 players in this game who have excluded out. 4 for St. Francis, 2 for Bucknell. Ethan Jones and Matt Rickman are out of the game for Bucknell. Vlasic, Avesi, Sisakovic, and Polo Morlier have excluded out. Valentin Horvath has 2 for St. Francis. Hassan Mogultai has 2 for Bucknell, so those players need to be careful. Faking ahead, Bucknell. Fortunate to be down by 3. But there have only been 4 players who have been disqualified from the game due to exclusions. And that's another exclusion on St. Francis Brooklyn. That's the 22nd. That's on Baptiste Oliveri. Thinking about it, that's Oliveri's first. Loose ball. Gotta be careful. Is that another brutality? No, it's another exclusion. The goalkeeper. So Ilkovic called for the contact. Skipped and boom. Josh Yardley with his second of the quarter makes this a 2-goal game. St. Francis Brooklyn in white 10, Bucknell in dark 8. This game's going to be remembered for some of the wrong reasons. If St. Francis lets go of this lead. September 19th, 2021. Bucknell, one last effort. And that is the end of a very dramatic third quarter. The score is St. Francis in white 10. Bucknell, the 15th ranked team, in dark 8. Bucknell and St. Francis each with 4 goals apiece. But the story of that third quarter, so many exclusions have been issued. Combined in this game, 34, 23 for SF Brooklyn, 11 for Bucknell. There have been at least 6 players who excluded out, and Josep Yodra Munoz was issued a brutality in the third quarter for St. Francis. How dramatic will the fourth and final quarter regulation be? We'll have to come back to find out.
Cap 7 is a small company that started out of the back of our garages, and we were doing clinics and camps around the country. We pride ourselves as a company with Cap 7 and Turbo to sponsor as much and give back to the sport as much as we can. Last year we gave over $250,000 back to the sport, and all our products are built by water polo players and for water polo players.
You're watching the CWPA broadcast brought to you by Cap 7.
Hi, I'm Wolf Weiger with Cap 7. There's one more quarter to go in this game. Fourth quarter coming up now.
Don't give it to me easy. I like a little challenge when it feels better when you say.
You're watching the CWPA Network with the Bucknell Invitational. Be sure to follow us on social media for all of the latest updates on what is happening around the league. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CWPA Water Polo. And be sure to check out our YouTube page for tons of water polo content. Woo-wee! You would think, oh, this is a great game, 10-8. St. Francis Brooklyn with a 2-goal lead over the host Bucknell. But our top story in the game, 34 combined exclusions. 23 for St. Francis Brooklyn, 11 for the Bucknell Bison. 4 players have excluded out. Actually, make that 5 as Josep Yodra Munoz had the brutality foul. That's 5 players excluded from St. Francis, 2 for Bucknell. In terms of shots on goal, 20 for St. Francis, 18 for Bucknell. On the power play, Bucknell is 4 of 17. St. Francis Brooklyn 3 of 8. So, despite Bucknell missing its power play opportunities, just a 2-goal difference. And you gotta be excited if you're the home crowd with what you've been seeing in terms of theatrics. You definitely get your money's worth. You do not see this all the time. Just means that if you're St. Francis, don't do this constantly. Inside the hole. Taken away by Stojkovic. Stojkovic with the outlet. For St. Francis, heading right to left. Wait, it has been a while since St. Francis had won a division title. I believe had done so during the last 10 years on occasions. Bounced back by Tuzo. In 2013-2012 made it to the NCAA tournament. Had to win your division championship in order to get there. Bucknell has been to the NCAA tournament each of the last 2 seasons. 2 seasons ago, winning its opening round contest against previously unbeaten Harvard, 13-12, before falling victim in the next round. Last year, lost an opening round NCAA tournament tilt to Southern Cal by 9 during the winter of 21. St. Francis Brooklyn on attack. Right to left. Pounced away with a clean fist. Fortunately, the hand did not get on the opponent. Just the ball. Ordinary foul. 19 shots for Bucknell, 21 for St. Francis. Set for the hole. Score! Bucknell hanging in there. That's Doric Ozer for the first time. The reigning Mid-Atlantic Water Polo Conference player and rookie of the year. He's a sophomore from Istanbul, Turkey. And St. Francis only leading by 1 now, 10-9. I believe the run is 3-0, 2-0. It is a run for Bucknell right now. St. Francis, though, clinging on to the lead. Pounced aside by Tuzo. And Bucknell has a chance to tie, but not now. Offensive foul. Number 15, Bucknell, trails by 1. And right now, Bucknell will be down a player. Timeout will be called by St. Francis of Brooklyn. Undo Lashanu draws the attention and gets excluded. It's Flashanu's second exclusion. He and Hassan Mogatai have 2 exclusions apiece. Valentin Horvath would be the next player excluded out of the game if he gets 1 more exclusion foul for St. Francis Brooklyn. Now to the left side, inside Bucknell territory. Now to the point. Another dry pass becomes wet. And the Bison, with 6 or so minutes left in the game, have a chance to tie it. Fans on their feet here at Kinney. Some of them are wearing masks, some of them are not. Look at the fans here giving instructions. Now they're acting like referees and coaches. When it is turned over. Gotta love the energy from the Bison faithful here at Kinney Natatorium. St. Francis Brooklyn in the Whitecaps with a 1-goal lead. There is an opening. Oh, that is shanked wide right. Tuzo with the goal throw. Again, after this game at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, if circumstances permit, Mercyhurst takes on Wagner. Wagner trying to finish the tournament 3-1. Mercyhurst just looking for its first win of the season. Pounced in there! Bucknell has tied it up at 10 apiece. Nice head rub there from Ozer with teammate Mogatai. Hassan Mogatai with his second, and the Istanbul Turkey natives. Nice gesture there. And now the score is Bucknell in dark 10, St. Francis in white 10 here in the fourth quarter on the CWPA network, brought to you by Cap 7, built by water polo players for water polo players. Scott Samuel David Weiss here on the CWPA network. St. Francis Brooklyn has let go of its lead, led by 3 or 4 goals in the third quarter, led by 2 at halftime. It was a 4-2 first quarter lead for the Terriers. All of a sudden, Bucknell has a chance to take the lead. Ordinary foul. 4 seconds left. And I believe an exclusion foul is called. That's Riyad Shahada. That's the 24th exclusion on St. Francis Brooklyn. Trying to get the pounce in there. Offensive foul. 5 or so minutes left in the game. 10-10. Between MAWPC East Bucknell and Northeast Water Polo Conference. St. Francis Brooklyn Terriers of Brooklyn Heights, New York. Picked off in the field. Bucknell still looking for that lead. What a win this would be if Bucknell finds a way. It looks like there are spectators telling other spectators to sit down because of the exciting action. From distance, yes sir! Bucknell is in the lead. That's a goal by number 3 for the Bison. Jack Lewis. Lewis with, we believe, his third? At least his second. He has a pair at the least. And Bucknell, out of the blue, leads this one 11-10. This would be a shocking victory for Bucknell. Even though there have been 24 St. Francis Brooklyn exclusions, St. Francis counters with another. There's been a lot of chippiness. 11-11 now. It's a 3-1 scoring run for Bucknell, which trailed 10-8 entering this period. Bucknell is 11-22 on shots. St. Francis Brooklyn 11-23, near identical. 3 of 10 in the power play. St. Francis 4 of 18 for Bucknell. The Terriers are now on the attack, looking to regain the edge. Someone is not going to leave this game happy. And you have a feeling, based on the emotion of this game, that the loser of this game is going to have some words with the officials. So you have to be careful how you perform the rest of the way. Off the noggin, out of the play by Tuzo. 2-meter corner for St. Francis. John McBride now giving instruction on the sideline for his Bison. 45 seconds remain in regulation. Neither team has gone to overtime this season. St. Francis has not been to overtime since November 24th, 2019, a 19-18 overtime loss to Brown in the third place game of the NWPC Championship Tournament. Bucknell, meanwhile, hasn't been to overtime since February 20th, 2021, a 12-11 overtime win at then number 9 Navy. If the score remains the same or we are tied after this quarter, we would go to 2 3-minute overtime periods. And it looks like we're going to set up a play here. So to restart, St. Francis Brooklyn in the Whitecaps. 4 in the first, 2 in the second, 4 in the third, 1 in the fourth. Bucknell, 2 in the first, 2 in the second, 4 in the third, 3 in the fourth. 11 goals each. 24 shots for St. Francis Brooklyn, 22 for Bucknell. A .458 percentage for SFBK. Bucknell shooting .500. 24 exclusions for St. Francis Brooklyn, 13 for Bucknell. And 5 players have excluded out of the game for the Terriers. For Bucknell, 2 have been excluded out. 2 penalty fouls for St. Francis Brooklyn, 1 for Bucknell. There was a brutality for Josep Yodra Munoz in the third quarter of St. Francis. That is out of play. No deflection, and John McBride is going to use a timeout to see if this will be the game winner. This is the closest game so far this weekend. This is the closest we've been with a shot clock unplugged. If Bucknell scores and time expires, Bucknell will win. Looks like there are spectators here taking photos saying, hey, are you watching this? Are you watching this in CWPATV.com? If not, I got photos here. Well, if you haven't been watching, St. Francis led by 3 or 4 goals in the third quarter, if I'm not mistaken. And then Bucknell was able to go in a little bit of a surge. But 24 exclusions compared to 13 for Bucknell. And again, ladies and gentlemen, we're scheduled to have another game at 1:30 p.m. Mercyhurst and Wagner. Also, make sure that you check us out online at collegiatewaterpolo.org to stay up to date on league news, schedules, and new initiatives as we continue to grow the sport of water polo. The MAWPC Championship Tournament is scheduled November 19th, 20th, and 21st at the U.S. Naval Academy. Be sure to keep checking collegiatewaterpolo.org for more information as we get closer to the event. Bucknell, winners of 2 straight MAWPC titles. It was supposed to be at Navy last year, but due to COVID protocols, had to get moved here to Bucknell and be a free team tournament. Bucknell, with the shot clock unplugged, has a chance to win it in regulation. There's another exclusion foul. Shot clock is unplugged. Trying to set up the game winner. Boom! Shaka-laka! Bucknell takes the lead. A goal scored by number 3, Jack Lewis. 12-11 is the score. Game over. Bucknell wins. Unbelievable finish. That was at the buzzer. The final score in this crazy wackiness of a game. Number 15 Bucknell 12. St. Francis of Brooklyn and White 11. Jack Lewis scored the game winner at the buzzer.
That was sick.
What a finish. And that ends Bucknell's 5-game losing streak. And for St. Francis Brooklyn, it is a 6-3 record now. How about 24 exclusions? 25 exclusions, maybe.
That was so sick. Let's go.
Fans here are still in disbelief. 13 for Bucknell, 24 shots for St. Francis, 23 for the Bison. 3 attended the power play. Bucknell, I think, was 5-19 or 4-18. And it was a brutality on St. Francis. So Bucknell improves to 4-7 on the season, 1-2 on the weekend, while St. Francis drops a heartbreaker and falls to 6-3. Wow. Thank you for tuning in to the CWPA Network's free remote broadcast, courtesy of Cap 7 and the Collegiate Water Polo Association. Game 11 is up next at around 1:30 p.m. Eastern between Mercyhurst and Wagner. Stay tuned and check us out on collegiatewaterpolo.org to stay up to date on the news, schedules, and new initiatives as we continue to grow the sport of water polo. Again, Jack Lewis scores the game winner at the buzzer to send Bucknell and its fans into a frenzy. 12-11, your final. What a finish. Bucknell still has Salem to take on later. And what a way to send the crowd happy until the next time they play. We'll see you for more action. The CWPA Network will return in just a little bit.